it's a parody on the recent FIFA campaign, or a puppet of Julius Malema demanding change, or maybe it's commentary on current affairs, Nandos never seems to miss a beat through any of its ad campaigns. Marketing manager for Nandos, Sepanta Bagherpour, will fill us in on the sometimes foul play. Here's their latest radio campaign.
I remember a time when heroes sat around my table.
A time when the flames grilled 100,000 chickens.
I stood shoulder to shoulder with the whole team, waiting for lemon and herb wraps and a side order of coleslaw in the queue.
And used my Portuguese roll to soak up the sauce of my chicken livers.
I got an original credit card slip signed by the national coach.
My order number was 224.
Now I know why they call it the beautiful chicken.
I ate there.
We ate there!
Get down to Nando's and get 3 flame-grilled peri-peri chicken wings and chips for only $19.95. Make sure you can say, I ate there.
Welcome to the show, Sepanta. It's such a great ad. What was the brief for the ad?
Thank you. The brief to our advertising agency was actually to work on a campaign that was going to run from basically end of March until the end of the World Cup, without any direct reference to the World Cup itself. And in the agency's research, and kind of monitoring the media and finding out what's going on and what's the word in the street, they proposed a tactical idea in this radio ad that takes advantage of a campaign about a very popular subject matter, and we thought it was a fantastic idea, and we went ahead and did it.
I mean, there's lots of rules surrounding FIFA and all of that. How did you manage to cross those boundaries?
Well, firstly, we have to be very familiar with what the boundaries are, and what the code of advertising is in South Africa, what is legally possible, to kind of define a criteria in which we can operate and raise a few comments. And if you know exactly what these legal parameters are, it's quite easy to still produce topical advertising like this without getting into legal trouble.
And Odette, what is your opinion on Nando's ads?
I think they're fabulous. I think they're controversial. I think they push boundaries. I think they get consumers talking. And I think that's when the cash register rings. And that's really what advertising is supposed to be about.
Absolutely.
So I think they achieve the objectives in a most creative and in a most relevant kind of way. I mean, how better to display relevance, which is so important, than to actually be so relevant that people talk, you know, and they identify with it. I mean, it's awesome that you've used the most important event for South Africa for this year, and you've been able to translate it into an ad that was so Nando's, about chicken, about peri-peri, about rolls, and hearing all of that, you just absolutely heard exactly what was being said, you know. I think that's absolutely amazing, to be so subtle yet so direct.
As MPs, we've been lambasted for overspending. So in the interest of ordinary South Africans, I got me a more modest car.
As a minister, I have to be more careful about my overspending. So I've moved to a more humble home.
In these tough times, we have also learned to tighten our belts.
3 peri-peri wings and chips for only R19.95. Yo, now that's responsible spending.
That ad is so relevant at these current times, given the lifestyle audits that people are talking about. How did you manage that, and how have you stayed out of the courts?
Well, we produced that ad actually towards the end of last year, when the topic first made its way into the media. One of our pillars of advertising in Nandos has always been social commentary. So talking about the things that are kind of on people's minds, but no one really kind of treads there in the kind of public arena. And I think we managed to tap into a very relevant insight that's still kind of being debated on the media, without really stepping on anyone's toes and getting into any legal trouble. We don't mention any specific characters. I think it's just does a job of communicating what is actually on people's minds.
You've got ad campaigns running at the moment in Nigeria. Do you use different strategies for countries outside of South Africa?
Our approach to advertising has always been about being parochial. So the approach in South Africa is to speak to the South African people. So using South Africanisms, topical subjects that make their way into the media or what's on the collective conscious. We apply the same principle to in any other of the 27 markets that we promote our brand. And in Nigeria, this specific ad ran when the Nigerian government provided amnesty to the terrorists that were in the Niger Delta region, and the advertising agency reacted very quickly and produced that ad, amnesty for all militants, and talking about obviously bringing in our brand intrinsics, the fact that everything's without oil, and obviously the militants they were in the Niger Delta were about the oil fields, and for the first time in history, these ads from Nigeria made it to the Ads of the World website, where people in the advertising industry will tell you that's a very reputable and highly regarded website that features the best ads from around the world. And it was Nigeria as a country's debut in the world of Ads of the World with this particular ad and the one after it. Yeah.
So now, what does pushing your boundaries do for you? What has it done for your ad?
It gets, at a very basic level, gets a lot more bang for our buck. At a brand building level, it really builds affinity with our target market. We're not about a very functional and very kind of simple communication. We leave most of the time for the consumer to close the loop at the end, and it's about irreverent, intelligent communication that gives you something to talk about.